Welcome to Joy of the Hang. I'm Sharon Stevenson, your host, and I am joined today by two fabulous women. We have Elle McComb and we have Michelle Burnett. Burnett, like Carol Burnett, with us today. And they are from RX Weight Loss Clinic here in Sarasota. So, welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, Sharon. We're
Of
happy to
course.
be here.
Yeah, excited. Of course, yeah. And we are going to start right off getting to know these ladies. So, Elle, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
What brought you to RX?
So I have been in Sarasota for about 45 years. Bill and I came here and we opened up our first chiropractic office, which I worked with Bill. We saw 100 patients a day. Then we opened up IMG Sports Medicine in Bradenton, built the Pendleton School. And then from there, raised my children. And then my daughter, when she was a broker, Charles Schwab wanted to do a Pure Bar. So I packed a duffel bag full of workout clothes. We moved to Tampa and we opened up Pure Bar South Tampa. And I thought I was coming back home. And then we were the number one studio in the country. And we decided to open up four more within a 18-month period. So I was living in Tampa, working, sleeping, coming home Saturday and going back Sunday. It's not a good thing for a marriage. So long story short, we ended up getting a divorce. And Bill and I were together since we were 14 years old. So that was in 2017. And then we did a lot of family things together. Bill's a great husband, a great father, a great provider. And we decided we were still meant to be together. The hurricanes came. Bill lost his house on Sanderland. Bill moved in with me. And then I was bored. I sold all my Pure Bars and I decided that I wanted to get back in the wellness and fitness business.
Yeah, you mentioned you've always been into wellness and fitness.
Yes, always into wellness
Yeah.
and fitness. Our children grew up. We always exercised. We were always a family that's what we did. Ski, every kind of sport. So when I started seeing all the patients losing all this weight on GLP-1s and diets, and we have our patients come in and we encourage them to come in weekly and get weighed instead of just taking their medications and going home. But they started getting loss of muscle tone, not really going to the gym, even though we encouraged them. So I decided to start investigating devices. And I came across EmSculpt Neo, which is the only device out there for building 30% of decreasing your muscle by
Increasing muscle.
your muscle, sorry,
We want
by
the muscle.
25%
Yeah.
and decreasing your fat by 30. And then I started looking at EmSella, which is for building your pelvic floor, which your pelvic floor and your core are all united. And it's also for incontinence. It's for erectile dysfunction, better sex, vaginal dryness, tightening. So here we are. I contacted Michelle, who we go back from 40 years ago, and we decided to do this together.
Mhm.
And we are helping a lot of patients, not just women, men in our community, get stronger, get leaner, and have better sex lives.
Who doesn't want all of that? Right? It's like the ideal. Sign me up, right? Exactly. Sign me
Yeah.
up. All right, Michelle, tell me what.
So it's interesting because Ellie and I were friends when we were 19, 20 years old. And I have four sons now, but at that point I only had my Ryan and he had a skin issue. And back in the day it was undiagnosable and her husband was in nutrition. And I just asked Ellie one day, he started seeing Ryan. And so that's how I kind of got in nutrition starting then. My next son, lived at the Greenery, Bill had us shopping like 5 stores and Ryan's skin did get better, thankfully. So Ellie and we partied. I don't know what happened. And then we wound up living in the same complex downtown. And she texted me, would you know anybody that would want to work at this weight loss center? And I was like, thrilled. I go, yeah, me. So I'm an RN. I've worked in surgery. Basically, I was married to a dermatologist. There's a lot of surgery and cosmetics. So this is new for me, but I love it. And it brings me back to the grounding of nutrition, diet, exercise, everything that Ellie described this place is that and more. I have nothing but respect and admiration for Bill and Ellie and how far they've come in this field of work. Every day is exciting here.
I have so many questions for both of you, but I want to start with you, Michelle, because I'm curious about your son's skin condition and how nutrition changed it.
Mhm.
What kind of things did Bill either eliminate or add to his diet?
Right. So it was interesting because he immediately couldn't drink formula, and I didn't know that breastfeeding was so good, and it was too late. So we went through, I mean, every kind of milk formula there was, and finally it got, I mean, he couldn't even drink goat milk. It was down to rice milk. We didn't know if he'd be getting enough nutrition. So Bill concocted some kind of a formula that was thickened a little bit. And then we went through that. But I mean, he had impetigo all the time and lost the pigment of his skin.
Hmm.
And it's eczema, skin eczema. It shouldn't have gone that far, but we couldn't get a hold of it. And I had already been to the teaching hospital, USF, and 3 or 4 of the doctors. And then Bill was the one who switched it out with nutrition, 100%.
So your son was an infant when you
Oh,
started
he was like
noticing?
1 month old
Oh,
and
okay. Wow.
projectile vomiting, could not keep anything down.
Okay. So was it a dairy allergy?
It was everything, dairy,
Lactose?
like any kind of milk, goat. We tried that, rice milk, any formulas.
Okay.
It was very difficult to figure it out.
Interesting. And now is he?
He's thriving. He's an attorney in town. Has a daughter. He has a great life.
Yeah, but can he drink milk or he still?
Oh, yeah, he drinks everything. I tried to tell him. He's like, I don't even believe you, Mom. I don't remember any of that. So it's kind of funny.
So interesting. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
interesting.
He remembers the eczema, but he doesn't remember all his baby.
Well, of course not.
Yeah,
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 he
that's-
wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. Did any of your other 3 children have any issues?
No, because thankfully Bill advised that I breastfeed all the others for 2 years. Thank you, Bill. 3 boys in a row. I was like tied up for 6 years. But yeah,
No.
so I did that and none of them had eczema.
So that's great advice for our listeners. I did not breastfeed either. I have 2
Oh, okay.
children. I didn't breastfeed either one. So that's interesting.
And eczema can be hereditary, and none of my other sons and his daughter has a little bit, but nothing.
Interesting. Did you breastfeed your children?
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them.
Had
'Cause
all
you
3
knew better.
natural
She
births.
knew better.
Went to the hospital, delivered, left immediately because Bill felt like it wasn't an illness. It was just having a baby. It was after my 3rd one was born. He was born at 1:00 in the afternoon. Literally, I was sitting in the back seat of the car doing payroll at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah.
That does not surprise me.
I don't know about you. I'm not sure I would have had the other 2 after the first one if he didn't have roses and
No roses.
Yeah, and champagne. I mean, feet up with a hot bath, right?
Yeah.
You just gave birth to my first child, but you have to go back to work
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
few hours. Thank you very much.
I remember Ellie in the office when I come in.
Oh,
She's so cute. Really adorable.
That is so crazy. So I'm really curious, and I think a lot of probably our listeners are about these new weight loss drugs, Ozempic, trizepatide, right? There's Wegovy is the other one.
Yeah. Well, there's
and
2.
just
There's
2.
a GLP-1 and a GLP-2,
Okay.
which is semaglutide or trizepatide.
Okay.
And semaglutide is Ozempic, and trizepatide is Zepbound or Mounjaro.
Okay. Well,
So
thank you
that's-
for educating
It's
me.
I had to learn it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know how they operate differently?
One is a 1 receptor and one is a 2 receptor. The trizepatide is a 2 receptor. It depends on the weight that they want to lose and everything, their age, their diet, which
Okay.
one you would recommend.
Interesting. Okay. So they're both very different.
Well, they both work on insulin.
Okay.
So
Interesting. So how did you feel about that when that first started coming out? Were you all for it, or were you guys like, because I know, I know other practices are very holistic in their approach and they don't want to use weight loss
what were you thinking when it came out?
medicine.
Well, at first when I came out, I really didn't have an opinion because I just thought everyone just needs to exercise and just lose weight a natural way. But that doesn't always work for everybody. And a lot of the, there's like a lot of people think it's better for you because it helps regulate your insulin, and people that have other issues, especially if you're really overweight, there's a lot more benefits, bad side effects. The problem I see is people long term wanting to stay on this. Like I feel like you have to learn how to educate yourself to eat better, use this as a tool, and then not stay on it once you get to your goal weight. And that's the problem that some people have, that you have to kind of educate them on that,
So it's just one piece of the puzzle.
well, yeah, one piece of the code. And why are they overeating? So that's why we feel our clinic is a little bit different, because we educate people on nutrition. We don't just have them come in, pick up their medication and say, see you in a month. It's the same cost to the patient, whether they pick it up and we don't see them for a month, or they come in and they get counseling, they get B12 shots. It's all the same. So we feel like we're different, and we're, I think, cutting edge because Bill has written a book that's on Amazon bestseller on nutrition and diet. And he has a lot of beliefs and things that you heard about 20 years ago that a lot of people go, I don't know about that. A big fat lie.
Yeah.
So it really is I find an advantage to the clinic and to our patients that what we have here. And we have a medical doctor,
Yeah.
Dr. Robert Ford. So and we've been here since 2007. So for us, it's nothing new, the whole weight loss
Yeah.
craze.
What are some of his beliefs from 20 years ago that
Well,
surprise us?
That was
Uh,
how
All
he-
protein to eat. Yeah.
to eat protein. He believes that a higher cholesterol level isn't always bad. It depends on what the ratio is. He believes in beef liver pills. He gives us copper drops. He's been doing methylene blue for a long time. There's some peptides that are such a rage on social media that he
Huge.
says wrong. So he's good at evaluating your blood work and seeing what is wrong. He doesn't believe in rushing on, cholesterol medicine or all these different medicines they put you on because that's what's making people sick.
Okay, so I don't know anything about copper drops and methylene blue. So what's a copper drop do?
Copper would be what you would want in your it only comes in like liver or beef liver tablets. That's how you get it. And it's mixed with vitamin A. And then the sunshine activates as well, just like 10 minutes a day. It's not like you want to get a tan. But so it's very, very hard to get that to where it actually works in your body.
Okay, but why is
And
that important to have?
Copper, well, now you're asking this. It's really
Technical.
good.
Sorry.
Something about
Okay.
retinol and yeah.
You need copper drops. Okay. and
Yes.
methylene blue is
yes,
what?
that's
What's
what
that?
Ellie takes.
Yeah, I take that only because just like I take Samorlin. I inject Samorlin, which Michelle knows what
Yeah, Samorlin's really good for you. He calls
for
it a
skin,
Yeah.
Now that's
hair,
a peptide.
a peptide for your skin, for your hair, for any kind
Muscle.
of extra fat around abdomen.
Mhm.
So but everybody's different. He has to evaluate the blood work and see what's like. I always was anemic forever, and they always wanted to keep me on iron. And Bill's feeling is that's the worst thing for you is the iron.
Mm.
So ever since he put me on beef liver pills, every doctor says, "What did you do so differently that you finally have gotten your iron up?"
Interesting. Okay.
Also, it's really important to go and donate blood and give blood to get rid of the blood and build the new blood. I mean, you'll have to have Bill on
It's
your
really
show one
good.
day.
I will go on the show too because this is fascinating. I'm like, wow,
It's
there's
all
all
fascinating,
kinds of
yeah.
things. I don't do the liver pills and I don't do the
We
methylene
sell them.
blue. Okay, great. I believe
And the
it here.
magnesium glycinate.
That I do
fabulous,
have.
really
I've
good.
heard of that one. Yeah, there's so much out there, but some glutide, Samorlin, that's the one that I've been interested in. A lot of
Yes.
people have been talking
Yeah,
about
that's
Samorlin.
really
Now,
good.
I know you gals told me last time though, there's certain brands. You should just go on Amazon and
No,
pick out what
yeah,
you
you
want.
have to really
right?
research and just like don't buy anything over the counter at CVS and Walgreens as far as the synthetic vitamins. You're just
Mhm.
wasting your money.
And most of them need to be IV, sublingual, that melt under your tongue, or
Yeah.
injected, because you don't want it to go through your gastric system. You want to bypass the gastric so it gets right into your
That makes
system.
sense. That makes sense. Now,
And that's what we do here.
the Samorlin, does that need to be prescribed or can you buy that?
No, the
anywhere?
Samorlin we have to order from a lab, and then it has
But
to
you
be
need to go to a
refrigerated.
doctor to
Yeah,
Mhm.
get
and
it. Yeah.
it has to be refrigerated,
Okay.
and you take it nightly. So if you forget to take it at night, you just miss a night. You don't do it in the morning.
Yeah. So my daughter has the condition, which is she has high iron levels. So
Okay.
hemochromatosis is what it's called. And so she has to go and have a phlebotomy once a month.
To have it
To
taken
take-
out.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
the only way they can reduce her iron.
So is it? So
Mhm.
it's a certain blood disorder then.
It's hereditary.
Hereditary.
So I had the gene that passed it. I was unaware that I was a carrier, but I've since been tested. So yes, she got it. It's genetic.
And you can also get that without it being genetic from a lot of patients have gotten that from the hurricanes and mold exposures
Mhm.
and working on their
Really?
properties from not wearing masks. Yeah.
Really? That's fascinating.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. So, what else would surprise us by health and nutrition? I mean, how much do you exercise a day? What do you think is
So that was the other
That's Kelly.
reason. That was the
That's
other
all
reason
I
why
understand.
I really liked EmSculpt Neo because after I sold Pure Bar and I was just living the dream, babysitting and working out, I still daily do Pure Bar. I love Pure Bar. I think it's an all around great workout. And then I would go to the gym and I would do 45 minutes on the treadmill. I used to walk outside, but my best friend's a dermatologist and she told me too much sun. So I do the treadmill every day, 45 minutes. And then one day I do half hour of the upper body, half hour of the lower body the next day. Once I decided to go back to work, I don't have 2 hours every day. Now, like today, I'm going to do Pure Barre at 5 or 6 o'clock, depending on when I get out of here. So I try not to say because I'm working, exercise cannot happen. I just figure it out. But now I don't do the treadmill every day, and I don't do the weights every day because now Michelle and I are working on each other. So we're both working on our abs and our glutes. So our abs, we can burn the fat and build the muscle. On our glutes, we're just doing what we call a non-surgical Brazilian butt lift. So it doesn't take the fat out; it just lifts your butt. And we're gonna next do maybe arms.
We're thinking arms.
Can't wait to see the before and after.
Well, our befores we just
Well,
we're not showing the befores.
it's
we
been
both looked at the
impressive,
before. But, well, it's funny because we are actually just a few months apart. That's also another funny story.
yeah.
And when we did our befores, we went, hell no,
No.
no, delete. This is going to have to take our word
Yeah.
when you see our
Yeah,
We've
after.
improved. Yeah.
Because I feel like we all try to be the best we can
Right.
at whatever age, and everybody's different. So I always say, what are my strong points versus what are my bad points? And I learn how to cover the bad and show the good,
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and we
Well,
can't be hard on ourselves.
For our listeners that can't see you two beautiful ladies, you have nothing to worry about. They are doing just fine. The befores here look really good. I'm really serious. You look great. So I hope this isn't too personal, but I'm going to ask anyway, because we're talking weight loss nutrition. I'm guessing that we're all postmenopausal.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Oh, yes.
So we're all in the same age category. Well, have you noticed that's changed for you? What you can eat, how much you need to move? Because everybody says, a lot of women will use that as an excuse for putting weight on or whatever, right? So what has been your experience going through peri and postmenopause in terms of the changes in your body? Michelle, why don't you
So
start?
I was like 47. So I didn't think about it. You were too. Yeah. I was so young and it just like was over before I knew it. But what I really know is I gained weight and I worked out like you. I was like a gym rat and, going to everything. And I started gaining weight and it wasn't like nice weight, fat weight. And I was like,
It was the skin loosening weight.
yeah, it's like, this can't be happening. And so then I just buckled down and I really started doing weights to build my muscles. And that was if I had to fight it. Used to be, you had a black tie and you go work out your biceps the night before and you look good. No, that wasn't happening after menopause. Spray tan became important, hoping they could paint some muscles on my kids.
I know. It's contouring.
Yeah, the contouring.
Contour those abs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then your face kind of drops. All of that.
Yeah.
I feel like Ella just said, you fight it off and you just do the best you can and present the best face forward.
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree. Do you have a similar experience with it?
I actually, with menopause, I really didn't experience menopause. I was misdiagnosed in my 40s with having some kind of ovary issue. And if they said it kept growing. So I landed up having a complete hysterectomy in my
Okay.
40s.
Oh.
But I flew to Atlanta to one of the best doctors in the country. And he immediately, while I was started hormone replacement therapy. So I never went through any kind of menopause. But what I should have done, because Bill did not want me to do this, and I did because I was like, you freak out. Like, I don't want any kind of cancer. I had everything taken out. And I'll never forget when Dr. Nishat said, do you want me to remove your appendix while we have you under? I said, is that extra? He said, no,
No
but
way.
no one's ever asked me. He goes, I don't charge extra. I said, take it all.
It wasn't even about your health. It's
Yes.
funny.
How much more are you going to charge? So I had everything taken out, and I would fly every 4 to 6 months for hormone replacement to Atlanta for many, many years. But what I didn't realize is your ovaries, even if I had kept one or half of one, they still produce hormones to keep you younger. So I was glad I got on HRT early so that I didn't feel like I lost too much. Then after COVID and all the craziness in the world with because I would take the Marcha once I got there, back and forth in one day, I started getting my hormones done here. And now Bill has convinced me to do sublingual because he feels that I burn through the HRT pellets too quickly from all the exercise I do. So
That
my
makes
body's
sense.
not regulating. So now we actually have a pharmacist that comes here from Denver every 3 months. We have a big machine in the back that makes a lot of our pellets and our sublinguals. So now I'm on a sublingual daily. So that seems to be working a lot better for me.
Well, I'm glad you brought this topic up because HRT is another thing that's, I think, extremely confusing. I will tell you, I started researching it when I got down here. And even though I've been in postmenopausal for 10 years probably, I never really thought about it because I really didn't have any major issues as a result. And so never got on it. And then a lot of my friends in Sarasota are taking something, right?
Mhm.
And so I was like, well, I'm going to look into it. Now, a lot of people do the pellets. Some people have had really bad experiences with the pellet. So, and I hate needles. So the shot for me wasn't an option. I'm like, I'm not going to give myself a testosterone shot a couple times a week. And then I was getting all this information. Some doctors were saying you can't take it subliminally because it won't give you the same results. I had someone say, if you're 10 years postmenopausal, it's not going to work for you anyway, too late. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's like all of this confusing, conflicting information from one doctor to the next. I have no idea. So I guess it's all very individual. And it sounds like you did the pellet
I do the
for
pellet
testosterone and estrogen.
estrogen, not progesterone, because I had my uterus taken out.
Okay, so you didn't need the
I
progesterone.
didn't need the progesterone, but you go by the blood work. So the
Yeah.
blood work, like my blood work, is actually better since I've been on sublingual versus the pellet.
Interesting.
We run a whole hormone panel
Oh, do you
here.
do them here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't
It's
realize
a big
that.
part of what
Well,
we
because
do.
she said she
And
was flying to Atlanta.
yeah,
I didn't
some
of it's
realize that you
cream
do it here.
too. You can do without a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you do HRT?
No, I had breast cancer, but I was
Okay.
completely fine. Just had surgery. I never followed through with anything. I've been fine since 2008, but I can't do hormone replacement.
I hear that a lot too. Once you've
Mhm.
had that, you
Yeah.
can't do it either.
So I'm shriveling up faster than Ellie.
This day and age.
But you know,
I'm on the
did
hunt
work.
to have my face done.
Oh.
But now that I'm working full time, I don't know when, unless I come in bandages to work.
Yeah, and you would. I know you
know.
would.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Scar.
Ladies, there's a lot to try to keep us looking young, right? I was at the fashion show in New York last weekend, and one person said to me, because I'm sitting next to all of these women that are in their 20s and they look fantastic, right? They're just skinny little bodies and they're beautiful, and I'm a little older than that. And I'm wearing this great outfit, but this guy sitting next to me, I was like, oh, I feel kind of out of place. And he said, oh, don't worry, honey, you're still relevant.
Thank you. How do I take that?
Yeah, you're exactly right. You're still relevant.
Okay.
Well, I guess if you say so.
Yeah.
It really wasn't my goal.
And he was probably 90. No, I'm kidding.
No, he was
No,
my
yeah,
age
no,
too.
okay.
No, he was probably the same age as us. But I'm like, okay, whatever. But isn't that we're trying to stay relevant, I guess?
Relevant.
By taking care of ourselves. That was the whole point of that story.
Because it's true.
So-
Age is just a number.
It is
And
just a
really
number.
And I wouldn't go back. I love my life. Where I'm at now.
Right? But I feel
Mhm.
so much younger than, I'll be 60 in March. So I feel so much younger than that, though. Right?
Too.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you surprised at every birthday and the number keeps
Yeah,
going
yeah,
up?
like, well,
Like,
well, I
wait.
think, oh my God, my age. My mother was that age. I thought she was so old. I don't
I
feel
do
that way
too.
now.
No.
So I really don't. So I think, but I
great.
think it's moving your body every day, And so when we bought EmSculpt Neo, I didn't want to get EmSella because it's like a toilet seat, and I was like, I don't want that. But so many people have falls in the middle of the night,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how there's a lot of people die as they get
Mhm.
older from
That's so
breaking a
true.
hip.
They're
And
getting up to use the restroom.
yes, getting up to use the restroom, or as they get older, they just think naturally we just don't have sex anymore because we're older, and that should not be.
Mm-mm.
It should never
No.
be.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we landed up getting both devices.
So let's explain then a little bit. So EmSella, when you said it looks like a toilet seat, I know how I would describe it. How do you guys describe it?
Or a chair.
I think it's pretty, but it's a big round chair like this with
Yeah.
arms, lights up.
Yeah, you can look at it on YouTube, but but you sit on. It's not what I expected at all. That's why it's kind of like sitting in this chair that I'm sitting at with no arms, but you're just sitting on a chair and it has a vibrating plate.
Mhm.
Is that
A
what
magnetic
it is?
plate.
Magnetic.
And
Plate?
what's nice about it is non-invasive. So I've had the Mona Lisa done over the years where it's a wand, and I actually literally was burnt a little and had bleeding for a few days. So this is, fully dressed, non-invasive. You sit there, They recommend 6 treatments. I find the sweet spot's 10. So I'd rather have people do 10 than 6 because they'll see results better. And
Mhm.
it lasts, like you go maintenance like twice a year. And a lot of patients that are doing it, they're just happier people, both men and women. So it's that's how the company started. Their first device was EmSella, and they noticed that the bottom of the abdomen, lower abdomen, was tightening. And they thought, wow, this is just amazing. So then they came out with first EmSculpt before EmSculpt Neo. And the EmSculpt reduced the fat, but it didn't build the muscle.
Mhm.
So now it does both.
Okay.
And it's just an amazing device that the patients are getting such good results. And the fat is permanently lost, but new fat cells can develop if, in other areas, if you're not eating right or trying to stick to some kind of diet.
Well, and that's what I noticed in the packet that you gave me. It's your program is multifaceted. It's
Mhm.
not just you recommend several different modalities, I guess. And one of them is a nutrition-based program. The other is the GLP,
Mhm.
right? GLP-1. Another would be because you're losing muscles with the GLP-1, you want to keep the muscle with the MSculpt Neo, correct?
And the
Yes.
Samorlin too.
And the Samorlin.
I feel like we keep our eyes on muscle wasting because we do a body comp on a scale and it actually shows your
Body fat
muscles
percentage and
and your
muscle.
body fat and your
Yep.
visceral fat. And it's a complete, and we do it every 3 months.
So you're doing a blood panel to start,
Mhm.
and you're doing
EKG.
the EKG, and you're doing the body fat analysis, body comp. Yeah, and then you start from there
And
with each
nutrition.
person and nutrition, and you put together an individualized program. And it looked to me like it goes 6 months or more. Is that correct?
Everybody's different.
Everything's
Yeah.
different.
And a lot of patients, we don't recommend EmSculpt to start until their BMI is under a certain amount because
Makes sense.
we don't want it to be unrealistic of someone. We want them to see the results, and the less fat you have to work with, the tone and
Mhm.
seeing the results is better. But the one thing I tell patients is when you see if we're working on your ab and you see your torso pounds go down or the visceral fat go down, which is the visceral fat, is the
Right.
fat surrounds the organs, that's so much healthy for like even heart problems
Mhm.
or, a lot of issues. So it all goes hand in hand. So some people might put their nose up, oh, someone had to go on a GLP-1, they can do it naturally. Well, a lot of people need that boost. They need that even that confidence in themselves. But that's why you go to a doctor and get on them, not ordering it through the mail, not knowing what you're
No, you
getting.
don't know what farm.
Yeah, what pharmacy it's coming from.
And no directions. I did that in the beginning before I came here, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was on the wrong shot. It wasn't good.
Interesting. So everybody's different. So who's your ideal patient? Are you seeing patients of all shapes and sizes that come in and they all have different goals, I'm imagining.
We have seen patients that have lost 80 pounds. Amazing. Or
So they're sticking with it.
Oh, yes.
That's
And
the
one thing you
key
had to
to keep
ask about, like menopause, not Bill, but my doctor in Atlanta told me when we get to a certain age, we really have to take out the carbohydrates and the bread. The bread is going to make us fat. As we get older, we can't get rid of it. Now, I'm Italian. I will not eat a sandwich. I would never eat a sandwich, but if they put a nice basket of Italian bread with olive oil,
Especially warm.
yeah.
On pizza.
I am going for it, and pizza.
There's,
But
yeah.
I try to do everything in moderation because I think what's life about?
Right.
What's life about? And I like my wine and champagne. I'm not going to completely give it up, but I know the balance or what I have to do to work out extra harder the next day.
So I have a question for Bill about this probably, but we were in France for, 5 weeks, I think last summer, 10 weeks, I don't know, long time. And we had bread, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I actually lost weight on that trip.
So
Different story.
So yeah, I was going to say, yes, we walked a lot. We walked a ton.
Well, a lot of it is
But-
what they put in the seed oils
This-
and the bad.
GMO, wheat.
Yes, it's awful. One of our patients just came back from a European vacation, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're the only patient I've had that's come back from a vacation and
And
has
lost
lost
weight."
weight."
Yeah.
But we
So
have
clean.
way too much processed foods in the United
Yeah.
States.
Yeah, the food was so clean.
Mhm.
over there.
Yeah, it's just so
And the
different.
bread is fresh every single day.
It's a whole different ballgame over there. A European lady was in the other day and she said, she's in her language. I said, see off the bread. And I eat no American food. I'm just here for the shots. And she goes, I'm so sorry. I go, no, we agree. So,
So
yeah.
funny. So if you had to give one piece of advice around nutrition, it's don't eat the bread here and stay away from carbs.
As much as possible. But like I said, I can't wait to, like, if I was told I'm on going to be on my deathbed, there's going to be pizza, boxes of pizza.
What's the one thing that you would say to avoid?
Void? Oh gosh. Well, sugar.
Yeah, sugars.
All sugars.
All sugars,
Mhm.
which means champagne and wine.
I know, but we make a little bit of exception.
we can still
There's a little bit of exception.
There's just a little bit of sugar.
They'll
in
say
champagne.
French wine or Italian wine. So there we go. Less sugar.
So true.
Yeah.
I know, it's so true. Well, there's so much, like you said, there's so many dyes and chemicals in our food that are not allowed
Right.
in Europe, Scandinavia.
We're learning about
countries.
that every day now. America's becoming more,
More
in
aware.
tune and aware.
Yeah, I always say, don't eat what you can't pronounce.
I like that.
That's really good.
I mean, if you can't pronounce the word on
That
the box,
label, yeah, that's true.
that chemical that's
Yeah.
in that,
That's really
you probably shouldn't be eating it.
Yeah.
Right.
And more ingredients, the less it's good.
It's true, right? And they always say, try to shop on the outer aisles as much as
Mhm,
possible,
right.
That's true.
right? That was the other key. All right, one other topic I want to talk about before I let you ladies go. So all three of us have gone through divorce at one point. I know poor Michelle's like, please, I was hoping she'd forget.
I'm so
But-
happy. No, kidding.
No, but you know what? I want to bring it up because 50% of us have, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty common that at one point or another, you're either going to break up with somebody or you're going to go through a divorce. We've all kind of experienced it a little bit differently. We all have children. So why don't we all I'll share my story first and then I'll go to you guys so that you don't feel so bad.
She could go last
Sharing
because she has a
the
happy ending.
She's got that
She's got the happy ending.
story.
So yeah.
So mine was, gosh, I don't know, almost 14 years ago, I think now. It was a while ago. And we just grew apart. So I had a big career in Maine and my ex-husband and I both made about the same amount of money at the time. And then we had our first child. He ended up in daycare 50 hours a week because we were both grinding away, trying to focus on our careers. Then I got pregnant with my daughter and she was a nice surprise. And at that point, my ex-husband said, I don't want to put her through what our son went through in daycare. Would you consider being a stay-at-home mom? And so I said, yes, that's probably in the best interest of our children. So I did. But what happened after that is I went from making a pretty high income to making nothing and to becoming dependent on him and his income. And he treated me like I felt like a child. I was getting an allowance now. So we didn't have joint finances. So now I'm getting X amount a month. And every month it wasn't enough. So the money kept, I kept putting money on credit cards and it just kept going up and up. But anyway, I started to get pretty resentful because I'm just like, no, you don't understand that every month there's a T-ball uniform that I need to buy, or there's a birthday party that I have to buy a present for. Anyway, I started getting deeper in debt. So finally I was like, I feel like I am someone's mom. I'm someone's wife. I'm trying to be a good friend to my friend group, volunteer at school. I have no idea who Sharon is anymore. No idea who I am anymore. A lot of my identity was in my career. I was important. I was managing big hotels. I was in charge. People came to me for advice. I needed to, that was a big part of who I was. And I had gone to college, all of that. So then I said, you know what? I don't know who I am anymore. And unless you're willing to change. And he was extremely controlling. I mean, I started a book club group just to have some adult interaction. And he would have a fit every month. I would go to book club and he would just say, you need to be here with the kids. You can't leave. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm literally going next door. We're not even going to a restaurant. And he'd call me every month in the middle of it. Time to come home now. And my girlfriends would be like, yeah, exactly. I would be like, what? You can't have a second glass of wine? So anyway, this built up over time. And eventually I just said, you know what? This isn't going to work anymore. You want June Cleaver, and who was a stay-at-home mom in the 50s.
Yeah.
For those of you who
Don't know.
don't know who that is. And I'm like, I need to be my own person. I can't live under this, kind of thumb. So anyway, he was a great guy, good provider, a good dad. But I said, we need to kind of go our separate ways because I can't grow in this relationship. So we did. And we get along fine now. He's remarried to a woman with 5 children. And I'm remarried to a wonderful man as well here in Sarasota. And so we kind of have a happy ending too. We get along fine.
Yeah.
So it all worked out but yeah, I think we're best apart. The kids are doing great. So anyway,
So that is a happy ending.
Michelle, kind of. I mean, we're not back together.
I and you will be
We're not
different than all both of
We're
yours.
not back together, but at least we can talk.
Yeah. So I was actually married twice. So Ellie knows this. Like straight out of high school, I married my husband, and we had 4 kids in 7 years. And he was a bit much, like to drink a lot, So that didn't end so well. And I think my youngest was like 2 months. He was very small, young, and I had my sister-in-law came home and said, "You're gonna need to get a job." I go, "Why would I work? I've got these kids." What
Yeah,
do
I
you
am
mean?
working.
Like,
I have a job.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, he's going to leave you for another pro." I'm like, "No, I'm supposed to leave him because he's the bad guy." Anyways, so that happened, and it was one of a friend of mine. Anyways, so my sister-in-law was working for a doctor who had just got out of school, and he hadn't started practice, couldn't afford a nurse. At that point, I wasn't a nurse, so I came on, and then I went to nursing school, and I got a lot of licenses and things like that, and I just started working with him for about 6 years, and then he was like single and had no kids and was like wanted to go out with me. I go, "Something's wrong with you." I mean, I'm like like a ladder of kids. He's like, "Why would you do that to yourself?" And he's like, and then he called like on Saturday night, "You're robbing me of seeing, being with you and seeing your kids." And I go, "I got Cheerios and dirty diapers everywhere. If you need, feel free to come over." And he would, and he'd bring like toys for them. I'm like, "Okay, this is my knight in shining armor." Is like, he crazy. So yeah, so then it was like pure bliss, and we grew his practice together and everything was fine. And I don't know what's happened, really, to tell you the truth. I stopped working there because I had done it like 3 years. And so I went to the hospital. I was kind of having fun, just for fun. I was traveling with girlfriends. And I get served papers at my front door during COVID. And I was like, it was like 350 pages. I was so stupid. I was so mad. I went like this. They went flying everywhere. I go, "That'll be on me to pick those up." And by this time, my kids are all married and kept their own kids.
Yeah.
And my oldest son's an attorney. Calls. He goes, "Mom, this is like 5 minutes time. You okay?" I go, "Yeah, I'm fine, honey." "Mom, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, what is wrong with you?" He goes, "Did somebody come to your front door?" I go, "Do you have a camera on me?" He's
Well,
like,
how did he know?
he had been watching it in the court system since 2017, and this was 2021. So it was very well planned. Anyways, yeah. And so we went through a 4-year divorce in court on trial. It was bad.
Ugly.
Very ugly. And then I was like down for the last week. I thought, I'm gonna walk out of this. I can't do this anymore. You're on the witness stand, and that's not who I am. It's not fun. And pretty high-end attorneys, going through your entire life. And so I had already decided that day, like, I'll make it through this week and then I'm just gonna walk. And the attorney came in, she goes, "I need to talk to his attorney quickly." I go, "Okay." They come back in 5 minutes, so I'm sure they'd already talked. And they go, "This is what they want to settle for." And I did not even register. I go, "Okay." Like,
Whatever, I'm out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then he asked me to pay like $50,000 towards his attorney. I'm like, "Okay." It was like the final straw. So I've been single now for 4 years.
So if you know anybody,
Yeah.
Michelle's a catch.
Or do you love it?
Well, now I'm sadly getting used to it. At first, I was like, "What do you drink coffee with? What do you do?" And you just
Yeah.
couldn't figure out life.
Yeah.
I went through like an out of body experience for the first 3 years. Like, I had no idea who I was. I went to counseling, that identity thing.
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, let's go through some role play here." He goes, "Well, what do you like to eat?" And I would say, "Well, husband likes salmon." He goes, "I didn't ask him what he likes. You didn't ask you what he likes." And I go, "Oh." And he goes, "What do you like to eat?" I didn't know. I just
Wow.
sat there. I go, and I never did answer it. And then he goes, "You've had him on a pedestal. You've never known who you are." And that's been a big thing to find out who I am. Coming to work here, doing things like this. It's a reach for me to change and do new things.
I think that's common for women, and that's why I kind of wanted to tell the stories.
Yeah,
Because I
you
think,
lost.
because I think we start from a very young age. We're givers. We take care. We're caregivers. We take care of everybody else.
Yeah.
And then we forget to look at ourselves and say, "Gosh, what is it I really want out of my life?"
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And how am I going to get the person that's going to meet me there?
Right.
Instead of us constantly pouring into them because you have 4 kids you poured into too, I'm sure.
7 kids now.
And 7 grandkids, right? So you give, and then you kind of have to, when you have some time alone, now you're like lost and you feel
Yeah.
like, okay.
I can't even decorate my place right. I'm like, where did I get this crap? It's just terrible. So I'm trying to figure out, what do I like?
Yeah.
Changing my clothes, changing everything.
It's fun though.
She's a big help. She's a fashionista, so she's like,
she is. I know she is.
yeah.
But if you reframe it, it can be really exciting. And that's what I found. It's just, it can be really, really fun.
Yeah.
And I find that I like to discover things every few years.
I think that's gonna
I
be
get
like that for
super
me.
bored.
Yeah.
Last year I like green, this year I like purple,
Oh, yeah.
whatever it is. All right, now we get the happy ending story.
Yeah.
So like I said, I met Bill when I was 14. I told him on our first date I was going to marry him. I went to an all girls private school. He was at an all boys private school, high school. And we just started dating and I got married really young. I was only 20 by 2 months. The only bad part was I only had gone to like 6 months of college. Then I switched to medical assisting school so that I could put him through school and do like his x-rays and blood work and all that. And we have three amazing children. They all live here in town and we hang out like best friends. We're not like, it's like we want to be with them. And, married almost 40 years, then divorced. But we never were completely separated. So it's like, as you get older for us, we're more like best friends. We hang out together. And what I learned from this, because it takes two to get a divorce. I don't care
That's
who, the things I pushed for and wanted and didn't think anything was ever enough. And it wasn't like I was on the tennis court saying this. I was in the office saying this. So I wanted us to work, 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 work. After the divorce, I tried the dating pool a little bit, but that was
It's terrible.
terrible. And then I finally thought, heck, if I was sick or needed something or a flat tire, he'd come.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? I just go back to what I know. And it's been the best thing because we actually get along so much better now.
So what drove you to go as far as divorce after being together for 40 years?
Well,
Inquiring minds wanna know.
when someone doesn't admit what they did, I was willing to go to counseling and work on what was the problem. But when someone won't acknowledge the problem, you can never move forward. You can never heal, you can never move forward until they acknowledge a problem. So I said, if we're not going to go for counseling for our situation, then I will divorce you. And I did. But the one thing we did do is it was a business transaction. We did not go down the grueling hundreds of thousands of dollars in attorney fees. I am very smart with business and money. We went to a mediator and we both just wrote it all down, didn't hide anything, and that's how we parted.
You parted amicably, as amicably as possible. Yeah. It's interesting you say that because my ex-husband wouldn't go to counseling either. And I said to him, I don't have the tools in my toolbox to fix what's broken. And we need help.
Yeah.
And he was very adamant that he didn't need help, that I did.
Right.
So I'm
Me
like,
too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely had childhood traumas that he would trigger for sure. But I'm like, you're my partner, and maybe you need to know more about that so that you don't trigger me.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to dig a little deeper and figure this out so that we can support one another.
And I think it's nice when you have a good group of girlfriends that were there for you. And I don't know about you two, but I did feel like I lost some social friends
I totally lost.
that would either like take one side or the other.
Yeah.
So you learn a lot of who your friends are and how deep they go and what's really important in life and what's very superficial.
And the rumors. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I should stay in Sarasota. I mean, my housekeepers came over and they said, well, we've got I'm okay club calling people. I go, why? Because I work for these people and and he's telling that you had an affair. And I go, with who? I'm like, I didn't have an affair. And that rumor was rampant.
Wow.
And I thought, my kids are going to hear this. My son still works with them. And I'm like, oh my God. Well, they believe that. My kids didn't believe it at all because I was so boring. But
what's that all
Yeah.
about? Why do you think there's such a negative rumor mill?
because I think that some people don't want to be wrong. And so he divorced me. He didn't want to be wrong about it. So I had to look wrong.
I gotcha.
And I eventually did look wrong because I wasn't taking care of myself and, went down a rabbit hole to dig my way back out.
Yeah.
Publicly, very publicly. I mean, I was not doing well.
Well, that sucks.
Very much. So.
Jeez.
But I did find out who my friends are,
Well, and I just wrote a book recently and I call it Our Messes and Our Milestones. And we really figure out who's there in both times. The people that want to celebrate our milestones with us, that show up with that bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
And the people that show up during our darkest days when we're going through the mess, and those are the people, our ride or dies, right?
Yeah.
That's what I call them. I'm like, and they're very few and far between.
I'm going to buy that book.
Yeah, I should have brought it over. I'll bring you a copy. You don't have to buy it. I'll bring you a copy.
Sounds great.
I have 10 of them sitting waiting for my book launch. But anyway, yeah, it's super. Yeah, I mean, it's so true that, and the girlfriends, like I had a group in Maine that would just, I mean, every night of the week, there'd be somebody there to help me out.
which is important.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Yeah. Those bonds are deep. But it was hard to find when I transitioned to Sarasota. And I don't know if it's just because of the season of life that I'm at. I'm not working anymore back then.
How
when I
long
owned
have
a
you been in
business.
Sarasota?
Just 5 years.
Oh,
Not very
okay.
long.
Ella can introduce you to everyone.
She's been here a long time. And you
I have too. I know, but she's very, very social.
I was.
I'm trying to.
Well,
get
now
there.
I'm getting back in the social.
Yeah.
I'm co-chair on Picnic sur la Bay. So I'm
Yes.
really excited about that on October 23rd at the Van Wezel. And I've been involved with Women in Philanthropy. So that's been fun. And now I'm going to try, when I'm not working so much, kind of spend more time with my grandchildren. That's my biggest pleasure.
And what does Picnic support?
So Picnic, it's the Florida Wine Fest. And then there's a chapter underneath it for caring for children. So that support, and it supports high school children that are in public schools, and it helps them with like their education and technical, like kids that don't want to go to college but want to have, technical, which we need.
Totally. We need all of that.
Yes, we need all that.
Yeah.
It also helps with families that have had dysfunctional upbringing. And I love it because I got involved. I chaired it 35 years ago when Parisians first came to town. And I was actually involved back then with New College, who originally owned the rights to Picnic. And I was their secretary. So, just for volunteer secretary. And I ran into Sandy Lubner probably 8 months ago. Sandy has been doing Wine Fest for 35 years. She's been on the board. It has no paid employees. It does not have an office. It's strictly out of their homes and all volunteers. And so when I ran into her and she asked me if I would help her bring it back, because the last time they had it was 2019, before COVID. And I love fashion. And so I said, let's do it. So the only way I agreed is if we were going to get a really good store with fashion. So when Joffrey and Brenda said from the Met that they would come back on board, I said, I'll put my name on it. So, so we're really happy the invitations just went out and we only have probably 80 tickets left out of 400. Paul Madison will be doing the catering. And it's going to be at the Van Wezel. So it's Hats on the Bays under a tent. So we're excited. And what's really fun is I didn't realize, because almost every event I go to where there's an auctioneer, it's always Michael Clover. But this is at Van Wezel, and Michael is with Michael's on East. And so when we started hunting that we needed an auctioneer, I didn't realize that a lot of organizations paid $5,000 to $7,500 for auctioneers. We want as much money to go to this charity for these children as possible. So my good friend Eileen Kurd, who runs Moffitt, she's a volunteer, she's on the board. She does a big Moffitt luncheon every year in Sarasota. I called her and I said, I want you to do this. We don't want to pay for an auctioneer. And then she said, as long as your handsome son, William, will be my auctioneer.
Oh,
so we're going to have
There you go.
Eileen and William, and we're just hoping every woman understands that this is not paid auctioneers. This is going to be from the goodness of their heart, and it'll just be a fun live auction.
I love that.
It's going to be fun.
It
Yeah.
is going to be fun. You going?
Yes.
Do you have your hat?
No.
I'm going
This
to, but
weekend,
I
I'll
don't
get
have- I don't have my hat either. So,
Well,
yeah.
the Met is having
right.
October 2nd for sponsors, committee members, patrons, a lady named Katie coming in with hats.
Ah,
So
That's a hat party at the
Katie.
back. That sounds
Lady
fun.
named Katie.
I love
that.
that.
That does hats from the Derby.
Oh, okay.
And they'll
that'd
be in the
nice.
store for a few days so people can go and buy hats.
All right. Sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. Is there anything else you'd like to cover before we close, ladies?
No,
Well,
if we can help anybody with weight loss, body sculpting, peptides, call us at Dr. Rx Weight Loss. We've been on 41 and Weber near Southside School for probably 25, 30 years. And we'd love to help or just set up a consultation if you have any questions and you're lost with what way to go. Just don't always listen to what you hear on Instagram. I even fell down that rabbit hole
Mm-hmm.
and I bought without telling Bill, what's the one for building your muscle, like those collagen gummy pills?
Oh gosh.
Creatine.
Creatine.
I had no idea. And so I didn't
Uh-huh.
even tell him. And I would keep them in my office and
I'd be like
I
candy.
would be hungry. I would take 5 or 6, not
It's like
taking
one a
it,
day.
one a
She's like,
day. Landed up having blood work done and was told that I had stage 3 kidney disease.
Mhm.
And I
my
said, how did I
God.
miss stage 1 and 2?
Yeah.
How did I go to 3? Like, Bill started
Wow.
saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he goes, test in 3 weeks.
Mhm.
And it was back to normal.
Well,
Thank God.
Wow.
yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. So, I mean, so he said, just don't just buy all this stuff you see on it.
I
It's
know.
so tempting, especially when our credit cards
Yeah.
hooked up to,
I
you
know.
know,
Yeah,
so-
whatever. Yeah. And that's how I got on the semaglutide. Just people told me, oh, you'll lose some weight. So, and I was doing it at home. It came with no directions. So I just, as a nurse, I'm throwing up like projectile water. It was just water because I stopped eating. I
Oh
wasn't
my
losing. It was
gosh,
just terrible.
girl.
So I got off of that. And then I came here, got completely educated. And I would never advise to buy something without direction, counseling. We are full service here. You come in, we do a body comp, we do nutritional counseling. We have other people that work and we're all busy keeping people engaged and coming back every week to check your weight, to see what you're doing. We check your labs. Like I said, EKG, we've got Dr. McComb, Dr. Ford. So it's full service here. It's a safe place. I had a lady the other day sitting with me in the room. I'm like, why are you here? I lost 60 pounds. I go, great. She's been coming here a long time. She goes, I just wanted to come by and visit. So I spent like 30 minutes with her and she comes out. She goes, well, goodbye. Brad goes, no, wait, you have to, there's something due here.
Yeah.
She was making an appointment for every week. And she was going to come back just to talk because she was so psychologically helped here that she loved it. And so, yeah, she's going to keep coming. But it was so funny. I was just talking away. She was just thrilled with her life change. Yeah, it was amazing. These are the stories.
Well,
You
you
get
know,
happiness.
and I love that you just shared that story because that's what Joy of the Hang is about. She still
Oh.
needed the connection. The hang is the connection, right? It's
Oh.
not just about the drugs and the
Yeah.
nutrition. Another piece of it is she wanted to keep coming to be because you're her accountability. You know,
That's what she
you're
said.
the one that she wants to share the
Yeah.
milestone with.
Yeah.
Share the one that she's like that connection of that continuity of care
Right.
is something she needs.
And she
Just
just had like
maybe-
the joy all over her face. Like she was
Yeah.
just so thrilled with her
It's
new life.
so
And we
important.
don't like to leave like the patient in the room. We stay
Mm-mm.
with the patient. These devices are set up really that you don't have to stay, but we want to stay because they want to talk. They want
Oh, yeah.
they want us to know what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
The EmSculpt Neo is there's no way you can harm somebody unless you have a technician that is either not checking their levels
Yeah.
of water, putting the paddles on backwards and burning them, which we've had patients come here with these stories. So it's
Yeah.
always important to make sure you go where you know your people are doing what you're supposed to be doing
Mhm.
and not to leave. People say,
Yeah,
why do you stay in the room when it's a device that's set up for not needing to be in there? People say to me, it went by so much faster.
Yeah,
And
you'd be lonely in there.
Well, yeah.
It's like getting a massage without the masseuse, right?
And you guys gifted me the first session too.
she doesn't have anything that
There
we
wasn't
can help her with.
anything.
Perfect.
I don't know about that, but thank you. But no, I was just going to share that you both stayed in the room with me and that EmSculpt Neo, it gets pretty intense.
Yeah.
So it feels like someone's like punching your stomach
Yeah.
several times really, really hard. And you do kind of have to be like, okay, you have to kind of get your breath. And once you get it to the upper levels, right? I think 100
Yeah.
was the highest or something. But yeah, it was good to have you guys there to kind of take my mind off what was happening.
And also, the leaner
too.
you are, the more you'll feel it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the more you'll feel it, the leaner. Because when we do our glutes, we go to 100 real fast.
fast,
And we
yeah.
don't fast.
You don't feel it.
Because I have a butt. But those are fast. The stomach, the first few times, I was like, well, third time, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting leaner and my muscles are getting,
Yeah.
and that's
It's
another thing
intense.
I have to mention. The GLPs are muscle wasting medications. So you could lose, as you'll see, the people taking it with no direction. All the next thing you're cutting your skin off, because you're left with a light, saggy skin and fat. And we have a whole program of lifting weights throughout it. We give the Samoralin, we recommend that. And everything with EmSculpt is muscle building. So we're very aware of skeletal muscle and body muscle. It's really important.
Right. Several components to it for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's close. I have one last question for both of you. Where do you find the most joy? What brings you the most joy?
Being with people.
I love
Yeah.
that, being with people. How about you?
My kids think that.
Oh, I gotta say that too. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
I know you were both.
I hope they're not listening.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
every day I call my kids, can we come over? And now
Yeah.
my grandson goes to Southside. So they park
He's
here.
so cute.
And my granddaughter, who's 3, is at 40 carats. So like this morning, my daughter-in-law walks in and I was with a patient and my little granddaughter, Bowie, who's 3, saying, I still want to go say hi to Gigi. So I had to say to the patient, I said, okay, if she comes in, and thank God it was a woman, and she said, fine. But that just gives me so much joy. I mean,
But what you don't know about that, she came in a little tutu ballerina suit and she wanted you to see it. And then she came back out and she changed into her school dress. She was so cute. Yeah, it's like Sloan, but you can't wear that to school. It's so
and what
cute.
gives you the most joy?
Yeah, what's your
Oh
joy?
gosh, this really fills my cup. Actually, to be honest with you, doing a podcast brings me.
This is my first podcast.
Me
I've never
too.
been on a podcast.
Me
So it's
neither.
pretty cool.
Meeting new people, hearing their story, that brings me a lot of joy. Of course, my children do too. I do not have grandchildren. Yeah, my children do too. But definitely, I need deep connections with people. I don't do well in large groups generally. I mean, I go to the events and all that, but I really, really love
Like the one-on-one that was her
talking.
yeah.
And I'm the
Oh.
same way. Everyone thinks I'm a really social, but I'm really not so much an extrovert, but I'm very introvert. When it's a big group, I sort of go, okay, now where do I go? What do I do? How do I do this? And most people would never think that of me. So you
Yeah,
never
same.
know what people
That's true.
are,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really true.
so
Yeah.
that's something that
I don't think people would think that of me either, but I do this thing that I'm sure nobody's aware of, but I will share it here. If there's a large group and I start to get overwhelmed because I suffer a little bit with anxiety, I go to the bathroom and I stay in there for a little bit. And
I do the same thing.
and I take deep
Daughter-in-law
breaths.
does that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I take some deep breaths and I try to recenter before I go back into the group.
Because it's so hard to know when to leave that one person that has you cornered.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
then
so
how
hard.
like, always being a very polite person. And I'm like, I really don't want to stand here anymore. Like, does anybody have a tip on how you walk away? I mean, what do you say?
I have a friend that was excellent at that, and she was just say, I just hate to interrupt you, and I'm so sorry, but I've got to go talk with someone else.
Oh,
and
okay.
you just kind of apologize. I don't mean to leave you or anything like that. We can catch up later. I learned it from
I
a
gotta
friend.
learn
Oh,
to do
that's
that.
Yeah,
good.
I'll
it is
stand there for
hard.
2 hours going,
Oh, me too. I used to, but I learned that.
good to know.
And actually, the other person kind of doesn't care anyways. They'll go corner somebody else.
And they're like, good, somebody had to stop this.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh my God. Yeah.
So interesting. Well, thank you, ladies, for hanging with me today.
This
It was a
was
pleasure.
fun.